something I'm not quite clear on. Why didn't AAF transport the aid themselves? There must have been a reason.
Yeah, there was. A couple of weeks previously, guerrillas had ambushed a convoy. It was some dissident group out to sabotage the peace talks in Carvalho. Anyway, NATO intervened and the whole thing just blew up. A checkpoint was hit. Protesters were fired upon at the MOD.
Yes, we were there. AAF.
Then you know how bad it got.
Our movements were limited by the government.
Exactly. And convincing anybody to reassign troops, to escort NGOs, just a total nonsense.
They were fighting back, huh? I hope that they can make a bit of betwen if you know the game more.
Tell me more about your friend. He was your liaison, right?
Right. But Adams and I had a history. We'd met on a previous appointment. This guy was your typical army lifer. Cynical, sarcastic, big heart, pissed off with everyone, everything, all the time. But he always seemed to know where to find a beer, and was always willing to share it.
Okay. Just check it. I might need to be careful to run over people. I'm fine.
You mentioned something about the breakdown of peace talks, the situation blowing up. What happened there, from your perspective?
Well, for one thing, the change in the peacekeeping mandate came out of the blue. We heard the pressure came down the pipe from CSAT. They had the leverage.
You mean it was in their interest to keep NATO at the mainland?
Maybe. Certainly the government had become frustrated with NATO and vice versa.
I suppose they blame NATO for their, more sympathetic approach.
Hearts and minds, Adams used to tell me. But the others said they just didn't have the guts for it, couldn't do what needed to be done. Adams headed out a long way from the town that morning, inspecting a drop zone near Bomos.
Ready? Wait.
Oh, fuck, let me see. From this way, it will be nice. West if we go like this. What? Like wind detection. Let me go over here. I want to go over there. Northwest. Yeah, let's do it.
Once he called in the airdrop, that was it.
Yeah, perfect.
They just had to sit tight, hope for the best.
One thing I don't understand, what were they doing there, all the way up in the mountains?
The town, Oreo Castro, this place has historic ties with the guerrillas. For years, people here would provide them with food, water.
I see.
The government responded by draining the swamp.
And that involved sending soldiers?
Yeah, coin ops. Adams and his guys were there to remind him of their R2P.
Just a sec, I'm getting a bit lost in the lingo here.
Oh, gotcha. R2P is their responsibility to protect. Counterinsurgency can get real messy real quick. He was in charge of training, laws of armed conflict, that kind of thing.
We get... Let's check, we got... It works.
Adams normally tossed out an orange smoke grenade, which marked his position for the pilot.
Oh, orange smoke grenade. Maybe we need to go over there, but still. We're going for the best over here. Yeah, move, you can play it. Oh, there it is.
No, just 4. One contained medicine, another fresh drinking water, the rest were packed with rice and grain. Adam said to inspect each one individually. Later, we'd arrange collection.
But maybe we need to be away. Not sure anymore, Justin.
Parachute, 200 meters right.
We're going on foot. Oh fuck. I think that tree just blown up. Oh fuck, I lost those. Yep, one of them are gone. One of those are gone right now. Oh, never mind, just planted. Oh, okay. Oof. I need to rest at the moment after we go there. Oh, perfect.
Thankfully, the rice seemed okay.
Let me rest, you know, I like to rest first. Oh fuck, we might need that via capital to not go for it. You know, to running over if there's enemies. But first I'm gonna go over here. Okay. Oh, I got scared that. It's fucked up. Not sure if it's possible, but I scared for. Oh, okay, we still. Wait, what are called? EA grenades, huh? Nice. I think that's food, if I'm not wrong. Is it food? Yep.
It wasn't uncommon for the sacks of grain to split on impact, but that time, we got lucky. He didn't lose a single one.
No, let's go first. What's this one? Okay, the medic pack, it's okay, I see. On the other one, it's sorry, okay. I can hear a car. Sorry, I know.
Technical, 75 meters, front.
Sorry, there's something I know it. Let us save the game. We need that if we have a cows also over here. We have trouble in the guts, if you ask me. Oh, over there.
Now, the thing with airdrops,
Oh, didn't see.
they're not exactly subtle. Smoke, noise of the plane, those bright green parachutes, they're gonna get you noticed. And when you're in the middle of bandit country, that's a problem.
Contact, machine gun. Mile down. Stretch mark. Enemy spotted. 75 meters. Right. Contact. Snake. Stretch mark.
Oh fuck. Reload. What the fuck are those doing?
The gorillas attacked.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was pretty intense. I don't have the numbers, but maybe 6 or 7 were killed.
There's somebody at the truck. What are you gonna take? Oh, yeah, let them come. Ne.
The medical items, you can imagine how pleased we were to see those around.
So they
I need
landed
to do
safely.
something. I
Yeah.
need to go in that
Yeah,
truck.
they were fine.
Be sorry if something happens. Zabite. 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 I'm back. Right. Now I have airplane. Oh fuck. Here to be normal. Nine. Oh, I know. Oh, it's perfect condition apparently. Perfect.
As I recall, the bottles of purified water were fine. We'd been waiting on those for weeks.
And what happened when the supplies had been secured?
Adams would fire a flare.
I want to move. Get it. Oh, sorry.
Get in that vehicle. Ready. Ready.
This can go on water. You know. Not. Oh, okay, that works. That's why today, nigga. Don't we have something more? Wait. I fired it already. Okay.
Back at the camp, of course, we'd heard all the gunfire, but that flare, when we spotted it, I don't know, felt like finding a moment of hope or something.
Sure. I can only imagine. And thanks for sharing. It puts a human perspective on my work. Speaking of which,
Okay.
your friend, do you think he'd be willing to contribute further? Even, off the record. What with the topic of my article, having an expert, an instructor on the laws of war.
Look, I'm sorry. I know he'd help out however he could, but listen, he died on Stratus. Year and a bit later. Landmine.
That's how it is for right now, I think. Yeah, we're on this vacation or Gania store or something like this shit. I remember at the video that was, of course, the previous video, we had a church somewhere, or a gastro. I need to check at the map.
Mac, heads up. Bobcat's on the move. Driver wouldn't wait.
That's fine, thanks, Andy. Hey, Kate, bear with me. It's gonna get a little noisy here. We gotta clear out some minds.
Take your time. Just let me know when you can talk.
That those mines aren't that deep because that they can be blown up like a normal tank. My game is lagging over here for some reason. Do we have something unlocked right now? More information, more information. Nothing, second floor. Oh, what? Nothing.
Okay, road's safe now. Bring the van on up.
Will do. Also, Mac, the NATO guys, they've kicked in all the doors. You're free to search inside the buildings now.
Got it. At least I can get out of the fucking rain. I'll come find you in a bit.
Have fun reminiscing.
Oh, I didn't know they kicked the doors up. Over there. You can be out.
Morning. You been in?
You kidding me? I ain't going in there, man. That shit's all yours.
Where are you now?
Who, me? I'm exploring.
I can hear an echo.
Yeah, I'm...
I am Frost.
Tell me more about Staff Sergeant Adams. You met him on a previous deployment. That must have been in Generous, right?
No, actually, this was after I'd left the military. Previous deployment with IDAP, Pakistan.
Oh.
It must have been...
Drones.
God, 15 years ago? I think. Feels like another lifetime.
Do I get my seat over here? If I said... Oh, thanks. What? Okay, what? Is that guy over here? Yep, still doing it.
I got a leaflet here. The army must have scattered thousands of these.
Propaganda.
Something like that. This one says, there's still time to surrender. Maybe a bad choice of words, considering.
Oh, we got a mission. Nathan. Somebody Nathan said it.
Time to surrender. What's the context here?
Well, this was last year, September. These leaflets,
Oh, my
they were dropped
birthday.
maybe a day before the fighting began. You see, the guerrillas there, they'd found themselves a new leader. Charismatic, ex-military. For him, this was no time to surrender. Far from it. In fact, he used that time to rally his people. Encourage them to resist, build defenses. Meanwhile, the army was setting up for a major offensive. The attack on Oreo Castro? It was no secret. Of course, after the leaflet dropped, IDAP started to pull out of the town. So the little I do know, well, that brings us back to the brother. The one who disappeared.
Huh? Somebody disappeared apparently? Oh, someone transport over there.
His name was Alexis. He volunteered to build a barricade. Town was his home, after all.
Ah, fuck, that would be hard to read. Oh, fuck you. Ah. Oh. Oh. No, fuck, can you read that? Oh, here, examine it.
So, these leaflets,
time to
they were a
surrender.
warning to the town.
Yeah, they confirmed the offensive.
The government was concerned about
AAF.
civilian casualties.
You'll be there.
Don't sound too surprised.
So, NATO's message, do you think it was getting through? I mean, according to the laws of armed conflict, that's the principle of precaution, right?
Sure, maybe. Or maybe they were just sick of all the extra paperwork.
What is our objective? Oh, that's going okay. That works. Why? Do I need 3 to get... Fuck. I really don't want to get those. What can I get? I remember there's...
IDAP's neutrality was one thing, but
I'm dead.
the situation they faced was quite another.
That's a role
You
play.
mean to say
Thank
even
you.
your own vehicles were commandeered?
Nothing like biting the hand that feeds you, huh?
Oh, there's benzene.
Help me out with some context here. This barricade.
I mean, it was crude, right? A gap between two outcrops of rock, natural bottleneck. The guerrillas hoped to block the road by jamming it with vehicles. As for the vehicles in the barricade, the commission actually linked the plates to a number of locals. Of course, several were still missing after the incident, so the investigation made some assumptions.
Okay, we got a pulse and 2 cars. We got a really nice vehicle. What? Oh, it's earthquake maybe?
Hey, just a thought. You remember the earthquakes back then?
Yes, they were quite frequent. Were IDAP at all concerned about that?
Oh, yeah. Any kind of disaster relief on top of what we were dealing with, it would have just about finished us off completely. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Just, I was thinking, he even took a local priest's car. I remember I was talking to Father Georgiopoulos, and he was actually very good about the whole thing.
How so?
Something about rich men and camels.
Oh, engine's turning off. Wait, do we have pinatas? Nope. I really like the new costumes. I really like I had to buy one of those hats. I had a choice on my holiday. Really nice just me hat. But I buy one of another hat from Arma. That's sick, yeah, cool. I just imagine some type of workshop. What do you need to go? A workshop map, or workshop map with IDAP on.
If I understand it, you know about what happened through the brother. Alexis, was it? Did you meet him?
Not directly, but, you know, it's a small town, right? People knew Alexis. After what happened here, I talked to the locals. Found out what I could. The rest of what I know is pieced together from the commission report itself.
Actually, that incident report, the evidence you submitted, that's partly why I asked for the interview. I want to gain a human perspective.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, for a humanitarian commission, those reports tend to be,
A little detached, yes.
Oh, here a car. Nah. I think that's a bug. You can't like go like this. Maybe it's on purpose. Okay, maybe it's on purpose. Can't say it's on purpose or not.
These vehicles, I suppose all of them were taken without consent.
well, yeah, given the circumstances. The owners couldn't exactly refuse.
Right, but that's the thing. Never mind theft being illegal. The laws of armed conflict prohibit such actions.
Okay, let's say it's okay.
After Alexis built the barricade, what then? Did he stay inside the town?
No, that's where the story gets more complicated. The barricade itself was later chained up and set on fire by someone else. I don't know quite who. Alexis, he headed west to lay mines.
West. It's on that way. Of course I can see at mines, but yeah, that's more fun. just to check out map. Let me get my cat down to be sure.
Anti-tank mines were already in the ground. If there's no pull fuse, and so long as they've not been stacked, they aren't too hard to remove. But Alexis, although he didn't use anti-handling devices, he did create a hybrid minefield.
AT mines. Mixed with APs.
That's it, yeah. He put anti-personnel mines around the anti-tank ones, made clearance all that much harder.
This guy, enemy.
These mines, how did they get hold of them?
Oh, that was close. Wait, do we get like... I need to try something. It's most...
They got them when the government's outposts fell into guerrilla hands. Bounding mines. The type that leaps up a meter into the air before exploding. Nasty stuff. Hell, nowadays they're even made with plastic casing to throw off older types of mine detector.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah. It was important for Alexis to place his mines near the anti-tank ones.
Oh. Not sure which one are the anti-tank. Oh fuck, I don't know the spot. Told you.
You know, thinking about it, even if we had a record of where Alexis's mines were, it may not do much good.
No? I thought minefield maps were a key part of your work.
Most folks don't realize, but landmines, they don't stay put. Heavy rain, landslides, keeping the map current ain't so simple.
And did he? Place them correctly, I mean.
No, not really. I mean, Alexis had basic training, but I'm more impressed he didn't blow himself up, really.
So, moving on. The castle? Why?
He was needed at the guerrillas' base camp.
Okay. His group were running things from up at the castle.
Mm-hmm. And I see what you're getting at. Yeah, Geneva Convention's cultural objects, I think.
The barricade. There wasn't any way around it there.
From the road? No, well, not unless you cut through the compound.
Motherfucker. Fuck you. That doesn't work. Oh, they got me. Are you okay, dolls? Perfect.
At what point did things become unsafe in the center of town?
Well, I'm not sure it was ever completely safe. Even before things escalated, we were concerned about being accidentally targeted. And to be honest, it didn't matter where we moved. That always remained a concern.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe a technical question.
Go ahead.
In these situations, did those involved commonly record the locations of minefields?
That's a tough one. Take this situation, for example. I'm convinced Alexis would have made a record. It's his home, after all. But do we have access to that information? No. And that's the problem. Things, information, people, landmines, they get lost in the fog of war. But that's the thing about landmines. Lost or not, they stick around. They wait to be found.
Do you feel these preparations made a difference?
In the short term, I do, yeah. The barricade held. The government's tanks were knocked out on the road.
And in the long term?
I'd go on, but as you may have heard, it's getting kind of loud here.
By the sound of it, you've got your hands full.
This will only take a minute. Be right back.
Major plans what attack or just no secrets. Aha. Aha. Więc to tych pod pomysły.
Bet you wish we had one of those in Pakistan, huh?
I gotta admit, that's 60 tons of getting shit done.
Szukaj.